It's not
produce this
color.
work?
It's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're in
Steven
a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List.
now. Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but they're cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like.
Huh?
That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
All right.
So it's the culture.
And let me tell you something. The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity.
When I built my studio, I built it in a neighborhood that is one of the poorest black neighborhoods in Atlanta, so the young black kids can see that a black man did that and they can do it too. I was trying to help somebody cross. The studio was once a Confederate Army base, and I want you to hear this, which meant that there was Confederate soldiers on that base plotting and planning on how to keep 3.9 million Negroes enslaved. Now that land is owned by one Negro.
What are you rooting for tonight?
I'm rooting for everybody black. I am. Betting on black tonight.
When you think of NYU, what do you think of?
Well, I think of a lot of things. I think of like the city life. I think of kind of like academics and kind of what the school provides, and like environment. I don't want to like just say environment, but the kind of area and environment that the school has, and like the vibe that people have.
When you think being black at NYU, what do you think then?
I think being black at NYU, you could dress. I think being black at NYU really though means, I don't know, like, that's a good question. That's a good question.
It feels cool. I mean, it's a lot of people here at NYU.
Like people as in black or?
No. Girl, it's a lot of people here.
Being black at NYU is like, it's a different experience from than what I just said, because it's like being black, I'm not seeing as many other black students as I normally would in like any other space. Like growing up in Atlanta, I went to a school that was also a predominantly white institution, but it was also in this like very black populous city, so I was seeing a lot more black people around me versus being here in Manhattan, specifically in like the lower, like Midtown, Lower East Side area. It's like I'm mainly seeing a lot more different people of different races, ethnicities, and like communities, that it's different and cool that I'm seeing these people of different ethnic backgrounds, but I'm not seeing as many black people. And then even on campus, like I see only a few, but the majority of students that I see are usually Asian American or Asian international students and white students, but it's really like the sprinklage of black students. And even then, the most that I will see other black students is either in kind of black spaces.
It's interesting in that there's a small like subsect of like black people, but even within that, there's especially coming to a place like NYU, you know, there's such a different experience. It's different, you know, there's no one way to be black. So you're meeting a lot of different people from different levels of privilege, different interests, and so it's like you feel almost an obligation to try to. You want to be friends with the black people that you do get to meet, but you know the reality of the situation is with most people, you're not necessarily guaranteed a vibe. And again, it's really, and you know it's very interesting meeting black people at NYU, because it's different.
Do you think NYU lacks black culture?
Yeah, I think it lacks black culture. I think certain organizations like BSU and those clubs, they help to integrate that, but I feel like it lacks it, especially in studio because we're always working on white stuff. And sometimes like we're allowed to work on black like pieces, like fences and stuff, but if I'm the only black person in my group, who else am I gonna work on that with? You know what I'm saying? No white guy is gonna be playing Troy, you know what I'm saying? So so like I feel like in that sense, yeah.
Let's see. I don't really. It's just like a bunch of microaggressions. Like they'll be like, oh, like, you know, how do you feel? Like we'll watch something black, right? Like we'll watch a black man in class, just random class, and then you know I'll be one of the only 2 black people, and they'll be like, so, class, I want to see your thoughts, and then people raise their hand, and of course I'm gonna raise my hand because I don't want to talk about that shit. The fuck? Then she's just like, so Jaden, how do you feel about this? How did this make you feel? And I'd be like, how did it make you feel then? If you're asking me, like, how the fuck did it make you feel? Like, I want to know how it made you feel if you're asking me, because I don't care. So it's just stuff like that. Or, you know, Black History Month comes around, everybody's like, Happy Black History Month, Happy Black History Month. And it's like, cool, like, I'm glad you're acknowledging it, but where the fuck is my money? Where's my reparations? Like, let's call it what it is. Like, your people were slaves, like, and here I am, living free. Where are my reparations? Yeah, that's how I feel.
It's like diverse, as it put off.
Yes and no.
Oh, so how do you?
Yes, yes, and it's diverse in how there's a lot of students of different racial backgrounds and ethnic backgrounds of kind of this, like, because they promote how they have, like, students from each state of different, like, there's definitely, like, a diversity, but I guess in thinking of, like, a true diversity of, like, a true ratio-wise, I would say no, only because people come to NYU all for different reasons. People come for their major, they all come for different things, so I think that goes into what the diversity is like at the school and how it kind of has this certain community, these larger portion communities versus, like, for example, a lot of the black students, like, there's not as many.
I'm gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be less black people when I came, but it was more, which I was happy to see. Like on my floor, like the girl I'm dating now, she lived on my floor. All my friends on my floor were black. My roommate was black. I made sure to pick like a black roommate. And even in studio, like I go to Atlantic, right? So in Atlantic, compared to all the other studios, we kind of have like the most black people. And even though it's not a lot, it's like they try to sprinkle like two black people, 3 black people in each group, you know, to make it look diverse. But I kind of, it was more than I expected. But it's because my bar was low.
Something, y'all.
This is the last one, y'all. 0.
Oh my God.
6. Damn. 9.
Hi guys, we're BSU.
I feel like there's a lack of African American culture at NYU. I think within like BSU and like black clubs, African clubs, I think it's very much there. I think overall in NYU, like curriculum, just like culture, what they kind of promote, I don't really see that as much. So like, are you the only like black kid in your class at the time? Yeah, all of my classes. And how do you feel about that? I mean, I'm used to it because I'm from North Carolina, so it's like there wasn't that many black people in the first place, but it's still just like kind of upsetting because like they want to talk about racism. I'm like, I'm looking around, I'm not seeing my people, but we talking about my people. So it's like, what's that about? You know?
There's been some deception. Like, it's not a problem if we're a small group here. Like, that's common for many PWIs. It's just that the honesty wasn't there. Like, I feel like we advertise so much diversity, but that's really not the case. Just be honest and say that you want more diversity instead of saying that's what you have.
Okay, so when you thought you, like, when you was coming to NYU, you thought you were going to find a black crowd?
Yeah, I did. Because, I mean, especially since I'm in opportunity programs, which is like a group normally for like minorities or like low-income families, I thought it was going to see a lot of us. And I don't unless I go to clubs or like events like this.
And this is sad? Like, are you sad that you didn't like...
Yeah, I mean, I have all of my friends, like, all of my friends I went to school with basically went down south and went to HBCUs. And then I see them posting stuff and I'm just like, dang, I'm never going to get that experience. Like sometimes it takes a time to find your own. Like not even even within your own people. Like just people who are similar to you and everything. Yeah. Not just because they're black, we're all gonna get along. I have to find my people within my people sometimes.
Hey! We're OBW, the Organization of Black Women at
NYU!
How do you feel like we can make it better, like as a community, as like black kids are coming together and trying to, you know, set a certain standard for other people that's coming in? Because like I know we come from Atlanta, we come from a really good culture in Atlanta to up in the north, and it's really not here.
Yeah, I think there already are like a few spaces, but they're usually really small, and I think that's the difference. We kind of need to continue growing like that bigger scale, because I feel like having a bigger scale will help, but I think like it's also about like engagement and involvement, because like some people don't want to participate in like some of these like I guess more black tailored events and what I've like kind of heard other people say, but I think clubs like BSU does do a good job in kind of like really doing these bigger things.
A lot of these black people, they vacation at Martha's Vineyard, you know, their parents bring in 6-7 figures. They pay full tuition to go here type shit. And I feel like, you know, that isn't the marker of being black or how black someone is, but there's definitely a missing part of the experience when they didn't grow up around a ton of black people.
I think being black, I don't want to use affirmative action as the main reason to why I'm here, but not gonna lie, like I didn't like do the best in school. I feel like affirmative action and like maybe like my talent, like for sure had to play into it. But NYU, they want more black people because they want it to look diverse. So I think that's why they gave me the scholarship. And you know, I'm like, my family's low income. I'm from Harlem. Looks good on paper. You know what I'm saying? It looks really good. So I feel like that played a part. Sometimes I try to think it doesn't, but then sometimes I'm like, it kind of did. Because I'd be sitting in class and I'd just be like, yo, how did I get in here? Like I don't.
So do you think that 5% that they promote of us black Americans is like really 5%? Do you see that 5%?
I do, but I would say that NYU like tries to extra boost it, and also like for like admission ambassadors and like certain like positions within the school, I feel like they kind of want to put a lot more like black students, so that when there's a lot of the times whenever I see admissions tours, it's usually I see a lot of the majority are black women actually that are doing those tours. And then it's interesting because even the tour guide that I had was a black woman. I think she's a senior now, and it's like interesting seeing, because it's like you get this vibe of parents like, oh, okay, so there's black students here, there's actually a lot, and then it's you get here and it's like,
oh yeah, it's not a lot. Like
it's not. There's are sometimes where I'm like, and why you just like are adding nitbits of people just to have it in the numbers or just to say that they're there.
Do you feel like, have you fit in with actors and actresses?
No, that's the thing. I don't fit in with them either, because the actors and Tish, like they're just all opportunistic. It's like they're bots. Like I don't know what it is. It's like once they get into the class, they turn into like these NPCs. Everything is like, yes teacher, yes teacher. Like bro, the teacher's not about to give you a job. It's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in that sense, I don't fit in with actors, and because I'm black and you know actors, there's a lot of white actors. So I feel like often like I'll be in studio, like I'll just be sitting alone or like with like one of my other like black friends.
I also kind of fit in like certain, like I like going to Black Student Union events, but then part of my identity is also South African, but it's like I don't go to ASU as much because I feel like I don't fit in with like a lot of the other African students, because like I know my identity, I know my family, but I'm not like a very, I guess, practicing, very showing like part of my identity, so I don't really involve myself much in that because I feel like, well, that's more of a space for them.
You mean am I comfortable? Do I like being black?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't want to be white. No offense. But yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to play roles that's just about me being black, but I'm finding myself struggling with those kind of works made by white people, and I feel like when I do go into the real industry, I just don't want to be pigeonholed into that. But I feel like right now I have an advantage because I'm young, I'm black. They want to see our stories on the screen. I don't think it's gonna be easier because I'm black, but I feel like there's just like this boost right now of like black stories on screen, especially like you can say what you want about Tyler Perry, but like he creates a lot of stuff, a lot of jobs, especially in Atlanta. Atlanta's the black Hollywood right now, but he creates a lot of stuff for black people in the entertainment business. So yeah,
I want to be more than just regular.
People that are Ben Sherwood, Paul Lee, Peter Nowak, Shonda Rhimes, people who have redefined what it means to be beautiful, to be sexy, to be a leading woman, to be black.